I need more mesos, and I'm sure you do too. I play on Reboot, and it all revolves around mesos. Cubes, flames, star forcing, it all costs a lot of meso. There are quite a lot of ways that you can go about getting meso, and I quite frankly, I'm just gonna have to start at the beginning, otherwise I'm gonna get lost. While you're farming monsters, they'll drop meso, little wads of cash or bags of money, little coin pouches. You get your meso from farming mobs, but these things are not a 100% chance drop. So while you're leveling, you'll also see these little familiar cards drop. These are pretty important, you're gonna wanna pick them up. If you get rare quality ones of these, you can reveal the potential in your familiar interface. And sometimes they'll have some pretty good potentials on them. Sometimes they can get like ignore enemy defense, which is good for bossing. And this is just at the rare quality. But you can also get things like increases the meso drop rate, which doesn't directly increase the amount of meso that you get, but it increases the likelihood that the bag or the little coin pouch is going to drop, which definitely affects your meso rate. In total, you need like 60% drop rate to make it guaranteed that you're going to get the coin pouches to drop. So you can get like one of these meso familiars, which I think is like 20 or 30%, and then you would only need like 40% drop rate, and then you're guaranteed to get the money drop. And then along the way, while you're leveling, you'll also get like equipment drop, which doesn't really sell for that much, but you can sell it for in the shop for like, I don't know, like probably like 30, 50k each. Or if you get your alchemy up, you can extract it and you get like the resources itself for like 300k each. And then as well as getting the equipment, pretty much every monster in Maplestory drops these spell traces, which in Reboot, they're completely useless and you just sell them to the shop for 5,000 meso each. And they stack up so quick, and I mean a full stack of them sells for like 50 mil. They're really useful early. Now in terms of like actually increasing the amount of meso that is contained in each of the coin pouches that drop, obviously the mobs drop more money the higher level you are, and you shouldn't be directly farming meso like really before level 200. I don't really think you would need to that much either. And then once you get there, the mobs are already dropping like 10,000 coins each without any bonuses to your meso drop. But then you can increase this by a lot by getting meso drop gear, which you can get on legendary potentials on your accessories, which yeah, sounds a little daunting, but trust me, this is going to be like literally the number one thing that is going to help you in progression, unless you, it's going to be. On like all the accessories, the rings, the pendants, the earring, you can get item drop rate and you can get meso drop rate potentials at legendary. So ideally, you would want to get legendary potential, and then you would want to get, I think, 5 lines of meso drop, so then you have 100% meso drop, because that is where it caps out on your gear potential. And then you would want like item drop on your gear. I feel like once you've got the meso, you can't have too much item drop, because all that item drop is going to help you get like more node stones and more of the droplets, which you need a lot of them because you use them as well as like some boss drops to get the currency to buy the level 200 arcane gear. So they're really good. And if you don't get them farming, you might have to buy them for 50 mil each. So having more drop rate's good. All right, but let's just pretend for a minute that you've got all your accessories and they're all 20% meso drop rate. You've got 100%, you're fully capped out. You can increase it further with your inner ability. You can get it to increase your meso drop, I think even at like epic or maybe even rare, but it doesn't increase it by much. You can get it to increase it, if you get it legendary, it'll increase it by up to 20%, which on Reboot is like 120%. Massive. And then you can further increase it with the wealth acquisition potion. But this potion is kind of tricky to get. You first would need to get the recipe, which you can get from like your daily boss runs. And then once you've got the recipe, you still would need to be a level 10 alchemist and have the necessary ingredients. However, the ingredients aren't really that hard to come by. What would be more difficult is being a level 10 alchemist. And since you're limited to fatigue in professions, it's a good idea to just like lazy chip away at this. Just get it done. While you're out farming and grinding, you'll probably see like these herbs or rocks just laying around. And I'm pretty certain you can just harvest these at level 1 for the respective profession. So it's a good idea just to learn it. And then if you see these rocks, try to pick them up, because these herbs will give you the resources that you need to make those wealth acquisition potions. And you'll get a little bit of mastery at the same time. So, I mean, you can slowly level up your professions. And then in terms of like buffs and stuff, you can get a really big boost if you go over to the Legion shop and you buy one of these meso obtained coupons, buffs. That'll increase it by 50% or like 250% on Reboot. These things are massive. They are kind of hard to get right at the start because you don't have lots of Legion points, but that just means you're gonna have to build up your Legion, which is a pretty big part of progression, and it will give you a big power boost to your main anyways. And then while you're leveling your Legion, you should level up the Phantom, because this class actually gives you more mesos, up to like 5%. Up to 5% at level 250, keep in mind. I think mine is like level 140, and that gives me 3% extra, which is only a little bit, but every bit counts, right? I almost completely forgot, but also once you're in your 5th job, you'll have access to Descent Holy Symbol, which just flat out increases your experience and your drop rate. So this is a really good skill to get, and you should definitely be using this while farming or grinding at all. Oh, and then something else I almost completely forgot. See, this is why I wanted to start at the beginning, because I didn't want to get lost. It's very important that while you're grinding for Mesos, or grinding at all, usually at all for that matter, you want to be in a map that you one-shot the mobs. You shoot out your ability, mobs die. Because the more mobs per hour that you're killing, the more loot, and I mean, yeah, the more experience you're going to get. The faster you'll progress. Alright, and now back to potentials. Okay, you need accessories to put the potentials on because, yeah, I understand. Accessories are a little bit difficult to come by right at the start. If you're fresh back on Maplestory, your main character hopefully is hyper burning. At level 210, they give you an event ring, which has really good stats, and also you can just potential it. So it's a fantastic ring to start with. Other than that, at I think level 170, you can head over to New Leaf City using the dimensional mirror up underneath your minimap. And here you talk to an NPC called Icebeard Slim, and he gives you a quest line that after a couple of quests gives you a New Leaf City coin. And you can use this over at the shop to buy a ring. And this ring can be Starforced and given a potential. It's a fantastic starting ring. It's the one I use with my Meso gear. You might see the other items and then you think, wow, they look nice. Don't touch them. I thought they looked nice, but the ring is the hardest slot to fill because there's 4 of them. And then moving on from this shop, there's another shop you can access pretty much from anywhere. Is the Silent Crusade shop, which there's a hotkey for it, but it's by default not set. So you just have to go into your keyboard settings and set it somewhere. And then in this shop, there's a couple of things. Firstly, there's Meso bags, which can contain between 100k and 5 mil, but on average it's like 600k, as well as a bunch of accessories, which are arguably pretty good. I used these. And you buy everything in this shop with Silent Crusade coins, which you get from killing bosses, but then also there's a storyline that you can start down here over in Koenig City subway with a cry for help. But I quite frankly, last time I did this storyline, got so lost, so please refer to a Google guide. I don't want to lead you astray. And I personally found these Silent Crusade accessories really good because the bosses, like, Zachem just didn't because ideally you could get a lot of accessories from like Zachem, Horntail, and even Easy Gollux. You can get like the cracked ring. And Easy Gollux, all the head parts only have like 50 mil health, so it shouldn't be that bad by like level 200. Okay, and then while you're killing all these bosses getting these cool accessories, pretty much all of them with the exception of Gollux will give you these blue crystals, which you can sell if you use your quick move when you're in like any town. You can sell them to this dude and he buys them for a crap load. Even like for a normal Zachem, you get 3 mil, and then for some of the other daily bosses, you can get up to 13 mil. In total, just on the daily bosses, you can get over 100 mil, and that's not even including the weeklies, which for some of the not so hard weeklies, you can get up to a bill or 1.5 bill a week. And then once you're done killing all the bosses, you can go over to your quick move menu, and then you can go down to Maple Tour. And this you can do every single day. You can do it twice per day. And at level 200 plus, it gives you like 27 mil per run. So every week you're getting over 300 mil just from doing this for a couple of minutes per day. And you get a chair, which drops money. And then on the topic of dailies, you should definitely be killing Ursus if you like easy money. You get paid like 17 mil for an S rank and I don't know, a little bit less for an A rank. But then during specific times during the day, you can get double mesos. So you end up getting like 100 mil if you do it during the peak time. Every day. And then I can't talk about meso without talking about boss mules. Now, I don't have a boss mule. I just have the one main. But these can make a shit ton of money. Ideally, these are like alt characters that you would level up to probably like 220. And then you would get pretty decent-ish gear on, able enough to kill the bosses for a couple of the lower tier weeklies. And you would just log on these characters, kill the bosses, sell the crystals, deposit the money in your storage. And then these things can make over a bill a week. But they do take a little bit of investment, like you gotta level up the character, you gotta make the gear. That's not what a freshie wants. who has no meso gear and can't farm money? You want to progress your main. That's why drop rate and meso gear is the best, because you get the no stones, you get the meso, you invest in your gear, and it will pay off so good. And then I think that pretty much covers everything, all the main things for meso farming. There are, I will call them honorable mentions, and these things, they contribute to meso farming, but they don't have that big of an impact. If you join a guild, they probably have the perk spotting small change, and it basically means that any monster you kill gives 8 more mesos. And this doesn't get affected by like drop rate or meso drop. It just means every mob you kill, you get 8 more coins. And then you can also get a similar thing on familiars, which I guess in the long run will add up. And then also if you play for long enough, you'll probably see someone flashing a pair of gloves that has a line or two of % chance to auto steal. I was lucky enough to get a familiar. Turns out you can also get familiars with this on it. I didn't know that. But I tried it for an hour and I got like 1.5 mil extra. Nothing substantial, but I guess, again, if you had like 2 or 3 lines of this and they stack, it would end up being a decent amount. And I guess that's it. Have fun farming.
Singing low while I pop a bottle off.
I forgot about Monster Park Friday!
No idea what that is.
It's on Maplestory.
Okay.
Singing low while I pop a bottle